Great day, kings and queens. Yeah, welcome to another conversation with Drew, where it's an honor to serve my gift to you guys on this platform. This is a magnificent Monday, and it's such a blessing, to be able to share the knowledge, the understanding, and the wisdom of God, through my experiences, to become, the best version of myself, but also to help you to become the best version of yourself. Again, today is a magnificent Monday. It's such a joy and such a blessing to be able to have life, but also not only to be able to have life, but to know what to do with your life, to understand the purpose of your life, to understand that nothing in the earth was created for fun or beauty, but everything was created with a purpose. And as the apex of creation, we have the greatest purpose in the earth. And it's such a blessing when you begin to truly understand your reason, your reason for existence. And as we go through this journey in life, I came to an understanding, that really helped me in life, and it really blessed me when I began to understand that nothing in life that we go through is by accident. Nothing that we go through in life is by coincidence. Everything is by design, and the understanding that is necessary, I believe, for everybody in this season. What's going on, Queen? I believe is that God, the only thing that happens to us is what God permitted and allowed, meaning that nothing can happen to you unless God permits it or he allows it. And that's something that we need to truly understand, because it allows us to then embrace what it is that we're going through. See, nobody wants to go through this process or through this struggle to become the best version of yourself. I get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard. It's very challenging. It's uncomfortable. My God, it's uncomfortable. But the blessing in it is that when you know that nothing is happening to you that God did not allow, or that he did not permit, meaning that he's jobbing you, he's allowing you to go through these experiences for a reason. It's just that it's so uncomfortable that we can't believe that God is allowing us to go through this. Yes, he allowed you to go through that molestation. Yes, he allowed you to go through being raped. Yes, he allowed you to go through divorce. Yes, he allowed you to go through being incarcerated. Yes, he allowed you to go through being shot or being stabbed. Yes, he allowed you to go through all of these things. Yes, he's allowed you to go through those addictions that you were addicted to. Yes, he allowed you to go through all these hardships that you were experiencing. Yes, he allowed you to go through being bankrupt. Yes, he allowed you to go through all of these different experiences because it's part of his purpose. When you understand that, when you conceptually grasp that, you begin to go to a place in life in peace, right? But the reason why you're having such a hard time grasping this, holding on to this, accepting that God is allowing and permitting these things to happen to you, right, is because you haven't forgiven. That's the biggest thing. That's when everything broke for my life. That's when everything began to make sense, right? Because he allowed me to go through being abandoned by my biological father, right? He allowed me to experience that because it was part of his purpose. I am a speaker. I am a motivational speaker. I am a teacher. I am an inspirational speaker. I am in ministry, right? Look at the earth. Look around the globe, right? We are suffering because of the lack of fatherlessness in our communities, right? We have incredible women, incredible, powerful queens. I was raised by one, right? We have incredible, powerful queens that were not designed to have to source and sustain something, right? Meaning that women, as great as they are, as powerful as they are, they were not created to have to sustain the human family by themselves. Get that, right? That's why the father was the male man was created first to be the foundation of the human family. I know all the feminists out there don't want to hear that, but if you go and do your statistics, it is statistically proven that kids are more prone to be abused, that kids are more prone to suffer in school, that the neighborhood goes down when the father is not in the home. As great as the mothers are, as great as the queens are, the male man was created to be the foundation of the human family. If you go into any neighborhood, and it's suffering, if it's violence, if it's crime, if it's gangs in that neighborhood, 9 times out of 10, the father is not in the home. period, right? Go through any successful family, I guarantee you'll see a great-grandfather, a grandfather, a father, and they're producing the young man to be a father. I guarantee you'll find that, right? Because that's the way that it was designed. And so with me not having that father, with me growing up for 32, almost 33 years without a father, right? It prepared me for this moment. It prepared me for the opportunity now to go into the earth and provide the healing. Why? Because in Malachi 4 said, I'm going to send you with the power of Elijah to turn the hearts of the children back to the father and turn the hearts of the fathers back to the children. This is part of why I'm here. It was part of the purpose. It was part of the plan. And so as uncomfortable as it was, God allowed it and he permitted it. Why? Because through forgiveness, through allowing the forgiveness to go forth, now I got my biological father back in my life. It's so funny, right? He called me the other day, you know what I mean? Not in his feelings, but just expressing like, man, Drew, if you going through anything, man, if you got anything that you need help with, man, call me, man. I'm your father. That's what I'm here to do. It was so funny listening to it because I really never heard it before and I never experienced it. Anytime I was going through something, the first person I think to call is my mother, because that's all that I've ever had. So it was so gratifying, yet so funny to still hear, but it was such a blessing. Because I never heard that before. And at the age of 33, it felt great. It felt great, right? And this is what's so powerful about forgiveness, right? Because he forgot, because he hasn't been doing it, he forgot to call me on my birthday. This was a call the day after my birthday, right? And as I'm listening to him, I'm feeling so good. But of course, old negative thoughts try to come back. Like, man, he forgot your birthday. He called you the day after your birthday. This is what forgiveness does. Forgiveness immediately kicked in and said, that doesn't matter. He's not used to doing that. But he's expressing that if I ever need anything, call my father, call him, my pops. He's expressing that this is why I was created, Drew, to be a father to you. He's expressing that. So forgiveness said, we got next year. Not only next year is he going to call me on my birthday, but we're going to celebrate my birthday together. And we got many more birthdays to celebrate. This is what forgiveness do. That's why my cousin James broke it down like this. He said, confess your trespasses, or confess your offenses, confess your wrongs to one another. And then he said, and then pray with one another. He said that you may be healed. Forgiveness. When you confess your trespasses, when you confess the offenses that you've done to somebody, yes, they know you did it. They're feeling it. They're living in it right now. They're going through it right now. But he said, confess it. Why? Because there's power. There's the power of death and life is in your tongue. So when you confess something, when you express something, you are saying that I did this to relinquish it, to give it up. So you're no longer holding it in your heart in guilt, and you're confessing it. Why? Because again, God does not allow or permit anything in your life unless it's part of your purpose. So when you confess this, you're getting it out of your system. That person then forgives you, and then y'all pray with one another, pray for one another, and y'all are healed. So this is why you're having a hard time understanding that God permitted you to be molested, or to be raped, or to go through that divorce, or to be addicted to drugs, or to be incarcerated, or be the drug dealer, or be shot, or be stabbed, or be bankrupt, or to go through these hardships. This is why it's so hard for you to understand it and embrace it, because you haven't forgiven. And when you understand that power of forgiveness, right, it allows you to then trust again after you forgive. When you understand the power of forgiveness that allow you to trust again, it allows you to let go of all the things that you've experienced, because you understand that it was part of your purpose. It is part of God's purpose for your life. He said, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Meaning that he already knew exactly what it is that you needed to go through to get the best you out of you. I needed to grow up without a father. Listen, at the age of 32, right? Well, I'm 33 now, but at the age of 32, I got both a spiritual father for the first time and my biological father back because of forgiveness. Y'all can't tell me that this is not real. Y'all can't tell me that this does not work. How can you explain that if you got all of this scientific genius out there? How can you explain that? You can't. Period. But I can. Because these are laws. We're just emotionally attached to our hurt. We're just emotionally attached to the pain that is so hard for us to let it go. But no, we're supposed to let it go because it was all part of the purpose. The plan, the will, whatever you choose to call it. It was part of it so you can become the best version of yourself. Listen, if everything was perfect, if everything was peachy, if everything was smooth as we wanted, right? We done watched these fairy tale stories by Walt Disney growing up, and we believe this bull crap. We believe that everything is supposed to be amazing. We believe that we're not supposed to go through no hardship. We believe that everything is supposed to be great. It's a lie. You have to go through this because you have to be tested. There's no product that ever been placed out on the market that has succeeded and been successful without going through strenuous tests. As the apex of creation, you need to go through these tests. It's molding you. So when I was fighting obesity, when I was faced with obesity for over 25 years of my life, it was part of me getting here. It wasn't part of me. It wasn't there for me to die in it. It wasn't there to destroy my confidence. It was there to build my confidence so I can know what confidence really looked like. So when I'm talking to a young king or a young queen and we're speaking about confidence, I'm able to empathize and sympathize with them to be able to speak life into their situation. Because I personally had to go through it. I was 13 thinking about committing suicide. I know what that feels like. I know that pain. I can identify with that pain. It can still bring tears to my eyes. But what I'm saying to you is that I had to go through it. God did not permit it and allow it to punish me. He did it. He did it so it can prepare me to become the greatest version of Drew Clayborn, the coldest king that they gonna ever see walk the face of this earth. This is my belief. Don't judge me. You understand me? Because I embraced it all. I embraced every part of it. I embrace in every moment, every second of it. Because again, God does not permit and allow something to happen to you that's not a part of his purpose and will for your life. It's okay if you went through a divorce. It's okay if you were molested. It's okay if you were sexually abused. It's okay if you've been a liar majority of your life. It's okay if you are broke right now. It's okay if you have been hurt by somebody in relationships. It's okay if you were addicted to heroin, if you were addicted to alcohol, if you were addicted to marijuana, if you were addicted to pills. It's okay. Because it's all a part of his purpose and will for your life. But the only way that you overcome those things is by forgiveness. You have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive those who done wrong to you. You have to forgive people. You have to forgive circumstances and situations because it did not come to destroy you. It came to prepare you and promote you. I promise, man. I promise it did. Why you think that I'm so happy? Why you think that I'm so joyful? Because I understand the process now. The process is to cultivate you and become great. No seed has ever came into the existence of the earth and produce fruit and produce plants and produce trees without going through a germination process. You don't think that's uncomfortable? You don't think that seed is comfortable just laying there as a seed? You don't think that it's comfortable just being a seed? It's very comfortable. No seed wants to go down into a dark place in the dirt, in the earth, in a foreign place. I was cool being a seed. They don't put me down there in that dirt. Don't then cover me up and take away the light that I had my whole life. Don't do that to me. It's very uncomfortable. Now I got to go through this process when I got to bust out of this shell and become who I was created to be. But once you come out of your shell, out of your comfort zone, out of that familiarity, out of that familiar place, man, God has something so amazing for your life. Something so magnificent for your life that's not only going to bless you, that's going to bless generations to come. Stop being selfish and saying that what I'm going through is for me. It's not. Nobody has ever gone through anything in life for them. They have gone through everything in life for everybody who they touch directly and indirectly. I get on this every single day because I understand that my life is not my own. I have so much in my belly that I have to keep pouring it out because it's not mine. Who of you ever before you came into existence said that I want to give me life? Nobody. So you don't own your life. Your life was bought at a price, a hefty price. But it was bought because you were created to be kings and queens in this earth. You were designed to have authority in this earth. You were designed to have power in this earth. You were designed to be a leader in your area of gifting in this earth. You were designed for this perfect time. It said in the fullness of time. In the fullness of time, everything is perfectly aligned for what it is that you are here to give and deliver to us in this earth. Why do you think that I passionately speak? Because I understand the authority that I was given. Nobody can stop me. Nobody. Nobody can stop you. But you have to embrace what it is that you are going through. You have to embrace where you are right now. Everything that you've ever experienced was for the divine assignment and purpose by God for your life. Period. Understand that. Embrace that today. Don't get off of this video and go with the same mentality. And matter of fact, I speak against that mundane mindset. I speak against that ordinary and that mediocrity of a way of a mindset. I speak against that average mindset, and I speak authority, power, kingdom, dominion in your mindset. You shall have a renewed mind. You shall have a renewed mind. That's the only way that you can transform your life. It is a law. It's not an emotion. I'm just so passionate because it's the fire that's in my bones. Do you understand? I feel this with every breath that I take. I live this because this is the only way of life. You have a purpose. You have a gift inside of you. You may have more gifts inside of you, but you have a purpose, and that purpose. Yeah, they was trying to say my connection was bad because they ain't want you to get this way. Yeah, you have that ability. You have that calling on your life. He said, you didn't choose me, but I chose you and ordained you that you may go forth and produce fruit and give fruit and have fruit, and your fruit shall remain. That's why we're able to talk about Jesus Christ over 2,000 years later. That's why we're able to talk about Martin Luther King over 50 years later. That's why we're able to talk about the Harriet Tubmans. That's why we're able to talk about people who produce fruit that God ordained to produce fruit and that will remain forever. Will you produce a fruit that remain forever? When I was growing up, right? It was this lady who died. Her name was Anna Nicole Smith. She married this old wealthy dude, right? It's so crazy that we no longer talk about Anna Nicole Smith. Why? Because she did not produce the fruit that God placed in her to produce. But we still talk about Jesus Christ over 2,000 years later. Whether you believe in him or not, we're still talking about him. Period. Period. Will you be one who we talk about until the end times? Will you? Or will you just be a memory of your own family? But you have the fruit inside of you to produce. That's why he didn't command us to be seedful. He commanded us to be fruitful. There's no way that you can put a command on your children to be fruitful if they weren't first seedful. It's no way. It's no way. He didn't say you have to produce the fruit. The seed. He said you got to produce the fruit, meaning that the seed is already there. If you had to go get the seed yourself, that's a different story. But you already have the seed. You already have it in your soul, in your belly, and who you are. It's in your DNA to be great. But you have to understand that everything that you've gone through and everything that you're growing through could not be allowed or could not be permitted by God if it was not part of his purpose for your life. Period. Period. So stop struggling with the fact that it's hard. Stop struggling with the fact that it's challenging. It's supposed to be. To whom much is given, much is required. You cannot expect greatness out of your life and not expect to go through great trials to get there. It doesn't work like that, man. I'm telling you, it does not work like, I wish it did. I wish it did, man. I'm telling you, I don't feel like going through this sometimes, y'all. I don't feel like going through it sometimes. That's real. Look, Jesus didn't feel like going through it. He said, man, if it's your will, take this cup from me. He didn't feel like going through it in the Garden of Gethsemane. Like, it's real. But the reality of it is that when you understand that you're being promoted and not punished, when you understand that you're being prepared and not punished, you embrace what it is that you've gone through and what you're growing through. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. And you will begin to go again to your brothers and sisters who you have offended and begin to ask for forgiveness, because that is how we get healed. That is where the healing is. When you be able to forgive yourself, when you're able to forgive somebody else who offended you, I promise you, that's how you are healed, and that's how you then are able to accept everything that you're growing through. Everything. Everything. Why was I facing a mandatory minimum of 10 years and a maximum of 20 to life? For his purpose, for his plan. Why did I almost blow my face off playing with a loaded gun? For his purpose, for his plan. Why did I have 3 kids by 3 different women? For his purpose, for his plan. Why is it that I was stricken with STDs? For his purpose, for his plan. Why was it that I was a manipulator and a liar and a deceiver? For his purpose, for his plan. Why did I have to grow up struggling with poverty? For his purpose, for his plan. Why didn't I have a male influential figure in my life? For his purpose, for his plan. That's the only way that there is for me to think. Because if I was to think the contrary, none of it would make sense. I would be angry and upset with a God who would dare put me in the earth without none of that. But because I understand that I was created for a purpose and for a plan, because I understand that everything that I've gone through and what I'm growing through is for his purpose and for his plan, it has gave me peace in my life. But I understand that I did not find that peace until I was able to forgive. And once I was able to forgive, everything that I've ever experienced made sense. And this is why I'm able to get on here every single day and pour out what it is that I've gone through and what I'm growing through and what it is that I'm going to, because I know that everything was by design. Everything. Everything. We are the apex of creation. There's no way that you can jump in a vehicle that you believe is perfectly fine if it's new. That you believe is perfectly fine and not believe that you are perfectly fine. You are the apex of creation. The car was created to serve you. The earth was created to serve you. The resources were created to serve you. You are the most important being outside of the Holy Spirit in this earth. You are. So that means that everything that you have gone through was not to destroy you. Everything that you are experiencing, every single moment and every second of it, was to cause you to become the greatest version of yourself. Not to punish you, man. Get that out your mind. You are not being punished. I don't care what decisions you made. You made those decisions based on the knowledge that you had. You are not being punished. You are being prepared to become the greatest you that there's ever been in this earth. I don't care if you got an identical twin. There is no other you. And you were created to be great. And you were created to serve us your greatness. Stop looking at your life as a crime. Stop looking at your life wanting a handout. Stop looking at your life as you are being abused. You are being promoted. I promise you, man. Listen, man. I'm living it. This is not something that I read. Like King Keith Camp always say, you read the book, we are the book. I'm living this. I am living this every single day of my life. Every single day of my life. I have to understand my conditions. I have a car that's breaking down. I've been sleeping on my mother's couch for the last 5 years of my life. I don't even have custody of my kids. I can see them when I choose to, but one of them lives in Harlem, New York. I just got my father back for the first time in my life. I just got out of a relationship that I thought and still believe is my wife. I don't have a lot of money in the bank. Why is it that I'm able to get on here and pour out so much to you then? Answer me that. Riddle me that, all you geniuses out there. Because I'm living it. This is my life. This is all I have. So if this does not work, then this earth is not real. All of my eggs and the eggs that I've collected of others along the way are in this basket. In this one basket, this has to work. Understand this. that I'm not playing with this, that this is my life, that this is my whole life. And I'm unapologetically transparent because you cannot say nothing to me that can stop me from believing this. I don't care what you believe about me. All I care about is what the Father is doing through me that's blessing other people. So when you understand that you too have greatness inside of you, regardless of where it is that you are and what you're going through, you will stop making excuses for yourself. You will stop beating yourself up. You'll stop being down on yourself. And you begin to look up at a God that's so great that he chose you to put you through the test that he's putting you through so that you can become the greatest version of yourself. That's it. And when you understand that, you'll become the king he called you to be. You'll become the queen that he called you to be. Nothing more, nothing less. But that's my time. God bless you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in for this magnificent Monday on another conversation with Drew. But remember, it's not a look, it's a lifestyle. Because we do this every day, not to what? Impress people, but to leave an impression on the earth. Thank you guys. God bless. If you want to donate to the proceeds of what I'm doing, the movement that I'm involved with, email me at andrewdclayborn@gmail.com. Inbox me or DM me. Man, $1 will help, 50 cents will help. You know what I mean? I don't think you can donate 50. Yeah, you might be able to. You know what I mean? But what we're doing is taking over the world. And the reason why I'm opening up donations, because I want everybody to be a part of this. We are all one. We are all part of the body. And we all have a role to play. You may not be a speaker. You may be the one who blesses us with the seed. You may not be a speaker. You may be the one that records the videos. It does not matter. But we're opening up for donations because we want everybody to be a part of this. Everybody. So I love y'all. Peace.